Hello, welcome back. This is Byers, and we're going to continue with texturing our dagger. We're going to go ahead and import it and go ahead and bake the maps. So we are no longer doing the high poly model. We don't need to. We can do all the detailing in Substance Painter. So let's go ahead and go to File, New, and in here we want to make sure we select the template as ASM PBR Metallic Roughness Starter Assets. Let's go ahead and get the object into Substance Painter. So go ahead and find your file. I think I called it new. There it is. Go ahead and open that up. And resolution is 4096. We are using use UV tile workflow. That means UDIM tile. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to check mark or click on convert UV tiles into individual texture sets, legacy. Make sure all that's selected, and we're all done with this. Click on OK. Your model should pop in. Of course, this is our first dagger that we did. You'll have another dagger you'll have to bring in, but I'm not going to have two different videos. You can watch this one again if you want to bring in the second dagger. We know it worked because we have our texture set list over here. Each one is separate. It shows that here's our pommel, there's our handle, there's our guard, and there's our blade. So they're all showing up, and each one of them has a layer. So you can drag and drop textures on here, or you can drag and drop them directly onto the preview, the model in the preview. There we go. I'm going to show you how to bake maps. We're not using a high poly model, so you may have seen my old videos. This is an updated video. This is 2024. So I'm using the latest version of Substance Painter that I have. I think maybe there's a later version in the school, but anyway, everything should be set up. So I'm going to go to Mode, Bake Mesh Maps, and you'll see something that looks like this. All right, don't worry about anything over here, but underneath Mesh Map Bakers, we don't want to have World Space Normal selected. We don't need to have ID selected, and we're going to use ambient occlusion, curvature, position, thickness, and normal. So we're going to have those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Output size, we're going to have 4096. We're not going to mess with the dilation width, and since we don't need to do a high poly model anymore, we're going to go ahead and click on use low poly mesh as high poly mesh. Max frontal distance we won't change. This will be 0.01, and max rear distance 0.01. Everything else looks good. Okay, so all we have to do, we don't have to do much. We're just going to go click on bake selected textures. Shouldn't take too long. Just be patient. I'm going to pause the video, come back when it's done. Okay, it's all finished, and all we have to do is go to return to painting mode. Okay. Now before I do that, I want to explain why we have the ambient occlusion, curvature, position, and thickness. Well, the ambient occlusion helps with adding dirt. Okay. So in the darker areas of the model, you can add dirt if you want to. Now curvature, the next one is curvature. I don't know if I can show that one to you or not. It's not really showing up. Oh, there it is. The curvature gives us the ability to add edge wear. Position, same kind of thing. We can add dust and dirt along those areas there. add thickness, also helps us with edge wear. Okay, so that's why that's why we want to add those textures. Okay, those maps that we want to bake. Okay, all right, this allows us to use not just a single material, but we can use an advanced material called Smart Materials. So I'm going to click on Return to Painting Mode. This brings us back here. And I'll give you an example. So let's say I want to, if I can add a texture to maybe the handle, okay? Or let's say stylized wood or something like that. So I can do that. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. So let's say that's the handle. Okay, so basically I'd have to add generators on top to get it to give me wear and tear. Maybe this isn't the best example of that. Maybe do the pommel with a piece of metal of some kind. So let me see what we have for metal on here. So metal, there we go. And let's look at like brushed metal. There we go. So with brushed metal, we would probably see edge wear around this area here, around the pommel, where you're touching it constantly, or where it just kind of wears off. And the same thing with this part right here. If I just drag and drop that on there, you're just going to get a metal, okay? But we don't see any edge wear anywhere. And that's going to be a problem with something. I mean, if it's brand new, that's okay, but not everything, especially for making something more realistic, okay, that has scratches on it, edge wear, that kind of thing. It has a history of being used, so that's why we are thinking about using smart materials. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this and hit the delete, and this opens up all the textures we have available. Now, of course, you can add to these textures by clicking on the plus sign, okay, and finding your own textures if you want to. All right, so the next one over is called Smart Materials. Now these are special made, and they're more advanced, and some of these have what built-in edge wear. So let's find one that has, this one has dirt on it, as you can see. This one has scratches on it. This one has a little bit of edge wear. Let's see if I can find something that has quite a bit of edge wear. Okay, there's black with edge wear. Here's some smudges. And here's one that's painted. It has a lot of edge wear. Let's go ahead and use that one, because that one seems to be the best one. So I can drag and drop it onto that object there. Okay. And now we can see that we have edge wear. Now you wouldn't be able to get that with anything else, okay? You wouldn't be able to get that edge wear with anything else. Okay, I'm not really crazy about that, but I can go back, and I think that's because I have a seam right there. And I only want the seams on the bottom. I thought I took care of that, but I need to kind of go back and find out what I can do to get that looking a lot better. But that's what Smart Materials will give you, is the ability to add edge wear pretty easily, and dust and dirt and all that other stuff. Now, I don't particularly like that color. I mean, that doesn't really look good. But I can change that. So I can go into the parameters here of this and find the color. Okay, and once I find the color, I can change that base color any color I want to. So I can go with a dark blue or whatever color I want. And I can even go with the gray if I want to, which might work better. There we go. So something like that. Okay. And once you have the color that you want, you can, once you have everything fixed and you've messed around with all the settings, and you're happy with what you have, and you can go in here and mess with those things, because we've got brushed metal in here, base metal, and you can kind of look down in here how this will all work, and just kind of mess around with the attributes here. But each one will have its own attributes that you can mess with. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And every material is different. I can't really go through every single attribute in here. You're just going to have to mess around and make mistakes and find the ones that will actually change the looks of it the way you want, but just messing around with the attributes. Okay, so that's basically it. Again, you can add smart materials if you can find them. Those are harder to find. But anyway, that's it. And of course, we've got some nice metals here too as well for the blade. They're nice and shiny. Looks pretty good. Now they're kind of crisscrossed because my blades are a little bit different. I mean, they're angled. So you can angle your blades. Let's see if I can get the properties here. And I think I've got the dirt. We've got tiling here. We've got rotation. I think I just need to rotate it properly. Looks like I got it at a 45-degree angle here. Probably want to do that with the steel base too. There you go. Just going to angle it the direction you need it to be. Whatever direction that is. Yeah, something like that. And your tiling is how big and how small it is. So, and this is kind of gives me a shininess, but also just adds a little dirt to it. And you just kind of got to figure out the scale that works best for you. Actually, that looks pretty good. Anyway, these are things that you're just gonna have to mess with until you find the right color combination and how you want to use those. When you're finally happy with everything, then you're ready to let's go ahead and hit the tab key, and let's move this over a little bit. And I want you to always do a screenshot of this. Okay, so I just type in S for snipping tool. Oh, there we go, snipping tool. That's what I usually use. I'm using Windows 10 Pro. So I'm going to go into rectangular snip and just kind of snip screenshot of that. And I'm going to go ahead and save as and save it to your desktop or whatever. Always put your first and last name. And then which one is this? Dagger 1. You got 2 daggers. And I'm just going to put TX on it. So that's textured. I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Okay. So when I'm done with that, just close that. And then I want to hit the tab key again. That brings everything back. And then we want to go to File, Save Scene As, and do the same thing. This will be your name, underscore dagger 01. Okay, and this will be Substance Painter. So this is going to be a Substance Painter file. Make sure you put it inside your the project that you're working on, okay? Not something else, because it looks like that's something else. So I'm going to go into that and into this, and I usually put it on the outside. I don't put it into a folder here. And just put that in there like that. And so now you've got a saved version of this in case you want to go back and make changes to this and add different materials and not have to start from scratch. Okay. Now let's go ahead and export your texture, show you how to do that. Go to File, Export Textures, and in here we want to tell it where we want to find those textures, and usually again we want to put them in your where your file project is, your project file is, and we want them to go into that project file and under source images. Okay, so just click on select folder, so all those textures will go in there. And here we want to do something different. We want to make sure that we are using, so scroll around in here until you find Arnold Udum Legacy AI Standard. Okay, PNG, and we want dilation. We can do no padding pass through. Okay, and output template, we need to click on Arnold Udum Legacy AI Standard. We don't need an emissive map. That's a glow map that makes things glow. So make sure that if you are using it, you have to keep it. But we're not using that, and we're not going to use the height map either. So I'm going to turn that off. We're going to use 4 maps, and that's going to be the base color, metalness, roughness, and normal. Okay. And under a list of export tells us all the Udum tiles we have and how many textures we're going to send out. Okay, so we're going to have 4 Udum tiles with 4 textures each. Go to settings, and I am ready to export, so go ahead and click on export. Depending how what types of materials you put on, it may take a while. Mine didn't do too bad. Everything's in the green, so it looks good. So go ahead and you're finished. You don't have to click anything. Just turn that off, and you're done. So watch the video I have with adding those materials back into Maya. Okay. All right. So that's the newest updated version of exporting Maya 2024 and exporting the textures and baking maps and everything in 2024. All right. Have a great day, and please watch the rest of the videos. Even though they're older videos, they should work okay. And I will talk to you soon, and hope you enjoyed the project. All right, I'll see you guys in class.